Welcome creators, I'm Blue Clary. Today we are going to be creating VFX trails for players in Fortnite Creative. Using the VFX Creator Device. Let's go. Let's open up our inventory. I'm going to grab this VFX Creator and place it. So what do we need in a basic trail? I want it to attach to the player's feet, and I want it to stretch behind them in a horizontal, continuous line, and I want that line to be pretty long. The first thing I want to do for our trail is attach it to the player's feet. So let's change some settings. This is our basic options. We want to go into all options. And we want stick to player. Okay, stick to player, yes. Spawn on player body part, I'm going to spawn on the base. So that's the feet of the player. So when the game starts, this trail is not going to automatically spawn on the player. So what I did was I created a button, and so when the player presses that button, I want the trail to attach to them. So spawn at player when receiving from, we're going to put in channel 1 because my button is transmitting on channel 1. Okay. Let's test this out. I'm gonna press my button, and yes, look, it worked. So our VFX are now attached to our player, and they are following us around. Kind of more of a blob than a trail, but we can work with this. So let's change some more settings. You notice how these sprites are shooting up into the air vertically, and we want them to actually be following the player in a horizontal line. So we need to change that. I'm going to change the sprite speed. Take that down to 0. Okay, and now our sprites, they're not going up, but they're going down. They're falling through the floor. So that is because we need to change the gravity. So here's the effect gravity. We're going to turn that to 0. And they should just be floating. Great, yeah. Another thing we want to change is that you can see our sprites are sort of appearing and disappearing. And we want them to be always visible in a continuous line. So we're going to go down here and we're going to change time between loops. So these sprites are animating and they're taking a 1-second break between each little animation, and we want to take that down to instant. There, instant. One last thing is that we can see our sprites are spawning in like in a blob, and we want them to be in a line. So we want them to start from a point. So we can change that spawn zone shape, okay? We're gonna change that to a point. Perfect. Let's test it out. All right, so this looks pretty good, right? So we have our trail, it's attached to their feet. This is a very short trail, right? And so we want to make this trail longer, and I know exactly how to do that. In order to make our trail longer, what we're going to do is we're going to change the sprite duration. Right here. So it's at 1 second right now. The reason our trail is so short is because our sprites are not lasting very long, right? So they're spawning and then almost immediately disappearing after 1 second. It doesn't give them time to travel far behind us and create that long line that we want. So there we go. We're going to change that to 5. Okay. And so now look, our trail is getting a lot longer, right? Look at that. That's better. But we notice that the sprites are kind of messy, right? They're moving in kind of a random way, and we want them to be a nice clean line. So we're going to take our randomness and we're going to turn that down. I'm going to turn randomness down, not all the way, but to 5%. And yeah, so now you can see the random movement has stopped, and we have a much cleaner little trail here. Let's test it out again. Okay. All right. There we go. Look, we got our trail, right? So here it is. It is stretching out behind us. It is attached to our feet. And It's in a line. It's in a continuous straight line, which is exactly what we wanted. What we have done is we have created our basic trail. We can use this as a starting point and just copy and paste it and change a few settings to create something totally different. For our Magic Stars trail, we're going to choose a main color for the base of the trail. I chose pink. You can choose whatever you want. Then for our secondary color, random, to give us that rainbow effect. And of course, for our sprite shape, stars. To produce more sprites, increase the effect generation amount. For the fire, we're going to choose a main color, a secondary color that's a little bit darker, add some brightness to that main color to give it a bit of a glow. Sprite shape, smoke 03. Because we want our trail to start out small at the base and get bigger at the end, we're going to choose a small sprite size, like 0.5, and then we're going to set a size change. For this flat rings trail, choose a main color, then change your sprite shape to disk 01, enlarge the sprite size, then to make our rings lie flat on the ground, we're going to change sprite rotation alignment to planar, randomness to 0. And you can try layering multiple trails. I hope this can get you started designing your own amazing VFX trails in Fortnite Creative. Try sharing them in my Discord, which is linked in the description, and please consider liking and subscribing. Keep creating, keep playing. I believe in you.